So I had shared that in these symbols of jackal and giraffe that are used in nonviolent communication to really distinguish what is life-affirming from what's life-alienating ways of being, that the giraffe is this life-affirming way of being, and while it's a vegetarian, it can use protective use of force. A lion knows not to go after an adult giraffe, but it might try and go after a giraffe baby. And it will do so with hesitation because it knows that that giraffe is powerful. One kick from a giraffe can kill a lion. So giraffes do have the ability to use protective use of force. What does this mean in the real world? So if you saw, perhaps you saw a fight breaking out. Two people, maybe it's high school, two people just start going at it. Protective use of force would be figuring out how you make the fight stop. You somehow are able to grab the two participants of the fight and get them to stop fighting, right? Get them to cool down so that the fight stops. That would be a protective use of force. A punitive use of force would be then to maybe hit one of them. You shouldn't be fighting, so I'm going to hit you. Punitive use of force might be you're going to go to jail overnight. There are times when that makes sense, right? There are times when it makes sense to, as protective force, to put somebody in a place where they can't escape so that they're not going to do harm. But so much of our jail and prison system is punitive. Not protective, but punitive. And what we're seeking to do is shift the consciousness into using protective use of force, which basically is we're going to step in so that you cannot continue harm. And then should that protective use of force include jail or prison time, there would hopefully be rehabilitation so that somebody can move from being somebody who is aggressive or dangerous to the community into understanding where's that aggression coming from, where's that anger and that movement towards violence coming from, and hopefully with that understanding transforming it so that they can actually be a contributing, compassionate member of society. So that would be inside of the protective use of force model. The punitive use of force really goes into the paradigm of right, wrong, good, bad, deserving of reward, and deserving of punishment. And so, again, we can see the criminal justice system right now. There's so much bad, wrong, deserving of punishment in that paradigm. And so if somebody's sent to prison, they're not given resources to figure out how to heal perhaps the trauma of their childhood that has made them feel so violent. They're given a cell wall. And oftentimes it's a dangerous place because they're with other people who are very angry and don't know how to control their violence. So it's a punitive use of force. Now, this could also, we can look at it at a lesser level. We can look at maybe a little kid is playing on the sidewalk. They're doing their sidewalk chalk. And all of a sudden they jump up. And they see a friend and they're about to run across the street. And you are there as the caring adult, and you see that there is a car coming. A protective use of force would be to grab the child or to use a loud voice and say, stop, don't cross the street, or to prevent them from crossing the street, right? Or wave at the car in some way to let them know, like, hey, stop. That would be a protective use of force, right? It might be grabbing the child and making the child not able to run, right? It might be that you've raised your voice. In other situation, grabbing somebody's body or raising your voice could be considered violent, but in this situation, it's protective, right? So that would be a protective use of force. A punitive use of force would be to say, you tried to cross the street without looking both ways. You shouldn't do that. You're grounded. Right? That again goes into the right, wrong, good, bad, deserving of punishment. Right? So that's the distinction of the punitive versus protective use of force. And really the big thing that we can look at here is, are we seeking to punish to get a particular result? Have we gone into some idea of right and wrong, of good and bad? And have we evaluated that somebody deserves to be punished for their actions? It was really a big piece Marshall Rosenberg talks about. In the domination paradigm, ideas of right and wrong, good and bad, deserving of reward and deserving of punishment become common day conversations like, well, it's obvious that person deserves punishment. It's obvious that person deserves a reward. I'd like to challenge you on that. Really seek to look at this key differentiation and notice, is punishment life-affirming or life-negating? When have you been punished in your life? Did it support you? Inherently, intrinsically support you to make better choices? Maybe it manipulated you into making choices that you now are like, yeah, those are good choices. But could there have been a better way for you to come about to a wisdom that is life-serving? So I invite you to sit with that and to contemplate these roles of reward and punishment, of right and wrong, of good and bad, deserving punishment or reward, as it's woven into the way we've been trained. Recognize where punishment can cause harm and where there are alternatives that are life-affirming.